So today is Canning River Regional Park. I've come for the third time to try and actually film this properly for you. I keep coming back because I think it's beautiful and peaceful, but also you just can't get past the noise. Birds, crickets, I'm guessing cicadas, everything. You know, it's just my childhood. I'm hoping you guys enjoy it too. Anyway, and the other reason I absolutely love it is, as you can see, suburbia is right there. That's the Canyon River there. We're going to be walking up along this creek bed, which is Bannister Creek there. Haven't done that one. We'll do that one another time. It's just a chance to breathe and be peaceful. So this talks about life corridors, or wildlife corridors as they're more commonly known. The whole point of them is to ensure you have natural, not curated bushland the whole way through from a reserve or protected or natural bushland to another area of protected or natural bushland through all of this urbanisation. The point for that is that if you have animals, plants, everything in this isolated region, the gene pool is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. When gene pools get smaller, you get inbreeding, and what inbreeding does is it means that you can't breed out the negative or dangerous genes. Tasmanian tigers are an example. They've got such a low gene pool that the cancer is just devastating them. So if you've got one gene pool here and another gene pool here with a wildlife corridor between them, then you have that chance of crossing that gene pool and making it larger and keeping populations stronger for a longer period of time, and they are absolute lifelines. So we have to do everything we can to protect them, not just because they're beautiful and special for us to live near. Anyway, one more point before we actually go on a walk is just over here. This is natural bushland, therefore there will be predators or scary things in here. In Australia we have snakes. This sign says, "This bushland is my home. For your safety, remain on paths, keep your pets on a lead," both of which you should be doing anyway unless designated no leash zones. If you see a snake, please leave it alone. Call the city if you have any concerns, and the number is up there. Okay, the two things you need to know about snakes. One, don't be stupid. Don't go where you know they're going to be and then get upset when you do stupid shit. And number two, just learn first aid for snake bites. I'm really lucky. I did army cadets when I was younger, and I was on a camp where someone actually got bitten by a snake. I made sure, I was part of the team that made sure that they got to hospital safe and sound. We don't know what the snake bite was, but they were fine. Now, it could have just been a non-venomous snake bite, but we don't know. But since that time, I've felt less scared with my work, which is in extremely remote areas, often 4 or 5 hours away from any hospital. And yeah, I just feel safer knowing. Anyway, let's get started. Sorry, it just feels really weird talking to myself in front of other people. My only point I wanted to make back there was accessibility wise. It's a little bit easier in the summer because wintertime we have these pools, but it's that first incline that makes it harder. Excuse me, please. along these paths, obviously not wheelchair accessible from my knowledge of wheelchairs. However, down Bannister Creek, down the other section, there is a fully wheelchair accessible spot with a really lovely little seating area, which I'm hoping to show you later if I've got enough room on my SD card. But I just love these wetlands for what they are, so I couldn't help but show them to you. And can I just say one more thing? Check out this gorgeous winter's day we're having here in the west. Couldn't be happier. Oh, for anyone who hasn't come across these stunning trees, they're melaleucas, and these ones are called paper bark. You can see why. It's really, really thin bark that, as you can imagine, had a multitude of uses for the local Indigenous people. And I'm not even going to pretend to know all about it. I'm hoping, really fingers crossed, hoping. I've contacted someone regarding getting a cultural tour, so fingers crossed they can tell us all about it. Pretty sure I came past this lady a week ago. The little one growled at me last time. Hi. Why? Don't apologise, they're gorgeous.
She wants to buy.
Yeah, I know, I can see. She's fixated. Have a good day. Okay, one of the reasons I had to redo this walk is because I wouldn't shut up about weeds the first time. I do want to make just 2 points really quickly. Sorry, I work in wetlands and I'm kind of passionate about them for very important reasons, not just to protect them, but because they do so much for us to protect us and to make our rather terrible footprints not so dramatic and dangerous to the environment. First one is donate to the local groups that look after your wetlands. They do such valuable and important work. You can donate time and become a volunteer with them. Pretty much most wetlands I know in WA, and I'm guessing that goes for a lot of places, have what's called friends of groups. So I'm really closely working with Friends of Lake Maclarty, which is the lake I'm working on at the moment. They do, one of the really important works they do, apart from raising awareness and clearing the junk that people leave, is weeding. This weed that you can see along here, literally choking the river, is called typha. It's, let's just say, a nightmare, is putting it politely. It chokes our natural vegetation that's meant to be there out, and out competes. And then that just has nowhere to go, and then that disrupts the whole ecosystem. I want to show you right here the difference. So this is typha choked wetland or creek bed. Immediately next to it, you have a much more natural wetland. Now, I'm guessing there would have been more reeds along this area here, like there are on the other side, but I don't know if this has been weeded of the typha. It's very interesting that there is no typha here, and yet it's so choked back there. Either it's been weeded, which is very difficult and costs a lot of money, or not, and it just hasn't spread down here. But typha is one of them. The other one I want to talk about in just a little bit is arum lilies, because they're a bigger problem with how society sees arum lilies. But I'll just shut up for the minute because it's just so beautiful. Okay, here. If you don't want to listen, just skip forward because this is really important. I always say stay on the paths for really important reasons. Even when I do my work, I try and stay on animal footpaths, or, I mean, if they're big, because you don't want to use the small ones, or try and use the same path every time. Whenever we drive on the same tracks. Very important reasons are you can spread diseases like dieback. That's how dieback spreads so quickly through our jarrah forest, but also spread of weed seeds. You can see here people have made paths through this spot. I mean, there's other weeds I'm passing, but this one here, this really small one, is what's called an arum lily. It's actually an arum, it's not a lily. But anyway, you can see, you'll probably know it better from the flower, and you can see how people have walked through here to, look, you can even see someone's just left behind the leaves because they don't care about them because they can't sell them. You have people selling them, you also just have people taking them home. And what's happened is they've walked paths through this bushland, natural bushland, to the arum lilies. So all of the native vegetation is being squashed while the arum lilies are protected because people want them to be there. I'm pretty sure I can see gladioli here too, but they're not as, I mean, they're an issue, but they're not quite as big an issue. Please stay on footpaths. They might be pretty, I mean, my respect for the arum lily has kind of gone down a little bit after seeing it choke through so much, which is sad because I always used to love them. But buy them from places that you know are safe, and just stop stealing them because you're destroying what should be there instead, so it can't even hope to compete. One of the reasons why they're so hard to get rid of, apart from the way that they spread, is this leaf. is waxy, has a waxy coating, so you can't just use a herbicide. You have to use a herbicide with something to break down that waxy coating, which obviously increases expenses. Please guys, just actually think about what you're doing. I mean, look at this, the whole thing. Anyway, okay, I'm done with weeds for the moment. Just think. Excuse the cold. A lot of algae in that one. Sorry, apart from the rubbish, I just noticed. Okay, don't kill me, but I just noticed another weed. This is freesia. It's a bulb. People love it. I'm pretty sure that might be gladioli just there, or Watsonia. If you live anywhere near a wetland, you must not plant freesias in your garden. Doesn't mean you can't have freesias, but they must be in pots. And you must be incredibly careful of them not jumping out into the wetland, because they're another. So I was just at a meeting where we had the head of, I cannot remember his title, head of Rivers and Wetlands, I think it is, for the DBCA. And he named 8 of the most serious weeds that they're looking at across our rivers and wetlands in this region. And freesias and arum lilies are both listed as one of the top 8 most dangerous weeds. Almost, not dangerous, I can't think of the right word. Gladiolas are not on that list. But as you can see, they proliferate pretty easily too. However, these freesias, just don't, please. And again, join your local, if you want to help weeding and to learn how to weed effectively so that you're not ripping up our own native bulbs, like this would be a great spot. Join your local friends of or conservation group. That's not to say we don't have hundreds of weeds along the edge, like the clover, so on and so forth. I think I might backtrack because this way you'll get to see the creek going downstream as we walk upstream, which is kind of stunning. And I'll try and be quiet this time. frogs are out. That's the Australian raven. So these little tiny balls and the unopened flower. Sorry about the headphones, but I just love. I mean, can you imagine this in a bridal bouquet instead of baby's breath? And I also love how it's got really spiky leaves. Actually, these ones they look spiky, but they're nothing like what a lot of our vegetation is, which could normally be used as needles. And then they've got these incredibly delicate little flowers. That's just WA vegetation for you. Gorgeous. Wattle about to burst into full bloom. now we're going to go into the part that is wheelchair accessible. Just a warning for anyone who has sensory issues, particularly with noise. The insects get pretty loud in here. Something I grew up with, living adjacent bushland. We had a pond in our backyard, so this is peaceful to me, but for some people it might not be. Just wanted to give you a warning. It's even worse around sunset, dusk, pretty awesome. Okay, back to where we started. That was the walk we just did. Now we're going down the accessible area. So wheelchair accessible, obviously accessible to people who are unstable on their feet as well. The whole way down this stretch. Also accessible to people who are incredibly unfit or have a cold and can't breathe like me. So apologies for my breathing. Can always just turn it down. Now you know that you may notice once or twice I do go off the path, which is obviously something I strenuously beg you not to do. There is actually a scientific reason for me doing it. I found something here a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just following up for the Swan River Trust before I report to them. So you can see there's a path here that people have made. It's kind of disappointing. And you can see along the path we have one of the most annoying Queen Anne's lace spreading weeds of all time. People just don't. If I ever have to go anywhere that is off a path, I think I mentioned this before, please sterilise your boots, shoes, feet, whatever. Not just once, not just quickly, but twice and thoroughly. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a shot for my dad for his new house, and I know he loves moss. Oh, try not to get it in your vision. See? Aren't you a good girl? Hello. Hey. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, you're gorgeous, but I have a runny nose. Hey, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Hey, sweetheart. You're such a good girl.
This isn't a, what do you call it? It's a
Muzzle.
gentle leader because it's on all the pressure points so that when I...
Okay. Yeah.
She has to respond to it, whereas if I have a choker collar, it chokes her too much because she pulls so much.
Hard. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I knew nothing about that. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, she's just got the kindest
It's not a muscle,
eyes.
that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. She's got the kindest eyes, doesn't she? Hey.
Oh, she's the most beautiful, gentle.
So
we think she's got a heart murmur. She's got to have an ultrasound.
my
$600 later.
Well, yeah. Did you know there's groups that actually will help you? So not necessarily pay for you, but it's kind of like not a lay-by system, but they will pay and then you pay them back.
Oh, make sure for paying for it.
But it is expensive. I know because my 2 foster kittens at the moment, one of them has a heart murmur, and they had to do the ultrasound, and nobody will adopt them, and they're so gorgeous. I've had them now. I normally do baby kittens, like about 3 weeks old.
So they shouldn't be away from their mother.
Well, no, but that's just it. Like if they get brought in, you have to like syringe feed them and everything, which I love, because obviously I don't have kids, so it's kind of as close as I'll get. But they were so sick for so long, and I've got 2 now, and they are about 10, 11 months old now. No one wants them because they're older. So it's so sad because they are just the sweetest souls and like really cuddly, like people love, and really funny. And yeah, I just can't get anybody to buy it, unfortunately. And one of them is actually, I mean, they're both gorgeous, but one, everybody's always like, oh, he's so cute, and he really is. It's really annoying because it's hard to tell him off. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
Take them.
Well, no, nobody's taken them so far, and they've been up for adoption for about 3 months. And if we don't get them adopted before the kitten season starts, which it is already almost starting, so it's normally October that it starts. October, yeah, exactly. But yeah, exactly. It's almost 2 months early. Yeah. We're just never going to get them adopted, and yeah, it's first of all, it's hard for me.
What happens to them then?
Oh, they just are meant to stay with me until they do get adopted, and they just put more and more pressure, or they reduce the price and that kind of thing. And then eventually sometimes they just will say, you can have them for free.
So they charge,
Oh yeah, absolutely. They charge because it's, they're sterilised and vaccinated, so they charge for that.
You pay for an abandoned dog.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, no, they're not charging anything above that, and it's, obviously it's cheaper than getting it done yourself.
Pay for it.
No.
That's what I was meaning.
Oh no, I couldn't. I'm on New Start. There's no way I can afford anything. I definitely didn't pay for this. Poor him.